Because I went to Florida in February to visit my grandma, and I never interpreted this male Australian strength coach for Sebastian ever in my entire life. Literally not once. I knew that I followed the Lee brothers for like a second, literally a second. I knew who they were. I thought they were crazy. They were wilding out with what they were doing. So I stopped like really watching them like that or like looking into them like that. But then anyway, it's the end of seeing this male Australian strength coach. And I just got hooked. Literally the whole weekend I was at my grandma's house, I watched this man's videos, just like watching everything he was talking about. And I was like, bro, and it just kind of brought me back to like thinking about periodization and how to like basically how to properly like program training in a sense. And I've always kind of had a mindset to my training, but I haven't really been periodizing. I haven't really been trying to do like a hypertrophy cycle with a strength cycle and a peak cycle and everything else. Basically, I stopped doing the whole like concept of doing like Tudor Bompas periodization and everything else. Or not. I just like, or like anybody. I mean, there's so many different types of ways to periodize now. Or like, but for the most part, I try to follow like a linear periodization. But anyway, the point is, this man talked about this stuff, and I was like, man, he got some good points. And then he talked about, I'm pretty sure in one of his videos, he talked about how when he'll deload, he'll try to keep intensity up, but bring volume down. Obviously, when you're deloading, your goal is to basically like kind of tone it down, kind of bring back your body. You can take a deloading, you can either take a week off from training, or you can take like a deload where you basically work a little bit, or you work a little, like a somewhat hard. You try to like get your body to, you want to train, but you don't want to just feel like, you don't want to feel gassed. You don't want to feel beat down. You want to leave your workout basically feeling almost refreshed in a sense. And even though, like I said yesterday, when I did my 3 for 15 for a double, like I did it paused. And honestly, at the end of the workout, like I felt really good. And I was like, this is sus. Like, I shouldn't feel this good. The only negative about the workout was that I have a little bit of knee pain, but I've noticed like it's some nagging like left knee pain, but I've noticed like, if I don't stay on top of my like activation exercises and my glute movements and my like stretching and foam rolling, mostly stretching, and like my activation exercises, I start to have more aches and pains. And like my two main areas that I probably feel the most aches and pains nowadays are gonna be my shoulder, like my right shoulder and my left knee. My left knee, like that's been a thing for forever. But I just, once again, I gotta do the little things to make sure my body stays straight. But my right shoulder, every time on my right shoulder, it'll feel good after I have like after my upper body day. And then after that, I'll go to work for like 2 to 3 days. And then my job, I literally, like I work at Jimmy John's, I'm literally cutting bread like all day. I'm just the whole day, the whole freaking Jimmy John's DJ, like just the whole day. And after like 2 days of doing that, if I don't stretch and I don't like do like, I would say like scapular, or like I basically like, I would say like scapular, like shoulder activation exercises, my right shoulder starts to bother me. And then the next time I do like a dumbbell press and I do like all my warm-ups and everything else, the next time I'll work my shoulders, my shoulder pain will go away until like the next week around that same exact time. And I'm gonna hurry up because people starting to come in here, and I'm not trying to be that guy who's in the gym making everybody's life more difficult, because I want to record on my camera and make content. So. Love it, J. Cole in the middle of this workout. All right, boom. So basically for this program and for this cycle, I started doing dumbbell bench because I started having like as much shoulder pain. I was like really like just messing me up because I started doing more activation exercises and stretching a lot more. And it's being more on top of my like shoulder stuff. But basically for the month, and I'm probably gonna keep doing this as I go forward. Like when it comes down to shoulder exercises, just to keep the pain at a low. But I've been doing a lot of pauses with like a slow eccentric. Today, I'm not gonna do that. Like basically for the month, I wanna say I was doing like 3 to 4 sets at, I think it was 10 to 12 basically. Yeah, basically 3 to 4 sets of 10, pausing at the bottom of each rep. Today, I'm probably only gonna do 2 to 3 sets of 5. And I'm not gonna pause. I'm just gonna basically go probably some RPE 7 or 8, but I'm not gonna pause at all and just kind of keep everything smooth. If I hit somewhere between 50 to 70, it'd be a good day. I basically ended off the month at like 60 pounds, I'm pretty sure, for a set of 10. And I was really happy with that because like my bench has always been my weakest. I don't like squat, bench, and deadlift. And I have a torn pec that I tore like when I was like 22. So I really don't be mad about it. Now if I literally don't have shoulder pain, like that's the biggest win that I could have basically. Anyway. But literally my own focus Just having good form, no shoulder pain, and just kind of keeping it smooth, and not letting because I noticed I noticed some of the videos that I recorded on doing dumbbell bench, I could see that my right shoulder was like turning forward. Like basically from this angle, you can't see it, but literally it felt like it was going like this on each time I went up trying to fight. And I'm like, nah, I gotta keep this strong position, obviously, with my shoulders back and like my shoulders backing down. Anyway, so I'm happy with how that dumbbell bench worked. But that's kind of like the bright side of what this man was talking about, if I have it correct, where you try to keep your intensity high, but volume low, or basically, let's say you're doing 3 sets for your exercises. For your deload week, you can just do 1. And then for your main movements, or for your like heavier compound movement, you can just do 2 hard sets, or two hard sets, but not like legitimately I'm about to pass out and die hard. You can literally do like an RP of 7 to 8, and it can be a pause. So it's not gonna beat your body up too crazy, but you are gonna feel it. Anyway, for the barbell row, for the last month, I'm pretty sure I did like 3 sets of 8, and I had gotten up to like 190, 195. It wasn't like my best, but it was good. But I'm gonna use straps in a second. I'm gonna do these pause. I'm gonna go ahead and do these for sets of 5, but pause them too. I don't know how that's gonna go, but that's okay, because I'm not going crazy today. And honestly, after these two movements, after I do my like sets of 5 and my pauses here, the rest of the workout, I might not even record it, because it's just gonna be chill. I'm just gonna be pumping. I'm gonna be pumping everything, and like I'm probably gonna do anywhere between reps of like 15 to 20 for the rest of the workout, just to get like a pretty solid pump, and only do like 2 sets. The weight's gonna be light. It's not gonna hurt. I'm just gonna feel like I'm just literally experiencing the Arnold pump, just pumping blood through my muscles and feeling all extra juicy and nice. You know what I'm saying? Like that's really it. And that's gonna feel good. It's not gonna hurt. Like so far my workout, like this has felt nice. It's felt smooth. It's felt easy. Basically, for the majority of the month, for this month, or for this cycle at least, I basically did all my movements from my first movement, or my first 2 movements. I did basically 3 like legit, or 2 to 3 working sets, 2 to 3 like legit working sets, where I did have to push, where there was like a hard set, and then like a drop set, or just 2 or 3 like hard sets at around the same weight basically. Because really with my squat, that's where I do like my legit rep maxes. And honestly, it sucks. And different numbers just cause different things. Like this month, my best, I did 325 for a set of 7 on low bar. And you know, like when you hear that I did 315 for a double for a pause on a deload week, you'd be like, well, that's kind of wild. That's only 10 pounds below your best that you get for a set of 7. But I'm like, honestly, like it felt really good. And doing the deload where like you keep the intensity somewhat high, but bring the overall volume down so you can recover properly is really smart, because your body can kind of keep feeling like strength, or kind of keep feeling strong. That's one thing I noticed, like when I stopped lifting heavier, or I stopped trying to push certain kinds of weight, all of a sudden, honestly, it's just a lot harder to get back to those weights, or to get back to those numbers, or those higher numbers that you were like lifting basically. But yeah, anyway, to cut off track again. So basically with my main movements, I basically did like 2 to 3 working sets, either a working set and a drop set, or 2 to 3 like legit working sets. And then after that, I would do 3 sets for the rest of my exercises for that day. And depending on what body part I was working, well, this gym is loaded. I ain't look up in a minute. Jesus Christ. But I said, depending on what movement, where are the 5s? I basically would have like anywhere between like 4 to 6 accessory movements, depending on what day it is. Like leg day, I'm doing 1 to 2 main movements, and then like 3 to 4 accessories. My upper body day, I'll do like 1 to 2 main movements and like 5 to 6 accessories, depending on how I'm really feeling that day. Yeah, I kind of want to do some pumping, but man, no arms look good in this shirt because the shirt is extra tight, and I kind of don't want to miss that on video. You know what I mean? As corny as that is, just the truth. I don't always look this good. I'll do one more set. Nah, man. So yeah, what you call it? And then talking about like the different like numbers I've hit and whatnot for like the months and whatnot, and hearing the fact that like look, I did 315 for a double from my low bar, my low bar pulse from my deload. That was fine. Didn't feel too beat up, felt fine, felt good. 325 for 7 marked me, obviously, right? But nothing's ever beat me down worse than when I did 245 for a set of 10 on high bar. And I think I had that video, and if I can, I'm gonna plug it here. But when I tell you that 245 for 10 on a high bar spot had me dead, like I literally like profusely sweating, about to throw up on the floor when I did a set of 10. And then then doing 325 on low bar. Obviously low bar is the advantage, but that's still a whole, almost, what is that, 80 pounds more for a set of 7. But something about doing more than 8 reps, bro. Ugh. Like hypertrophy work in a squat, sets of 10 in a squat, the fuck, ugh. It's disgusting. I've never felt so just like, it just hurts. It's just the burn and everything, it just hurts. It's just not a fun thing to do. And literally you get to like 5 to 7 is cool. Everybody wants to do sets of like 3 to 5. In my older age, I've realized that I don't really want to lift too heavy and do like 1 rep maxes, because honestly, I already tore a pec, and I'm pretty sure I partially from the other one. And I really don't want to go through that again in any body part, because it's just not fun. The recovery sucks. And honestly, because of my work, with how I work, I really can't risk like taking a whole, hope the tingling just started. I'm trying to get a little itchy from this beta-alanine. Anyway, I say, yeah, I really just, with how my work is right now, and how like, I work like 50 plus hours a week, and I use my arm and I use my legs every day. I really don't got time to be hurt. And I feel like I'm just not going to be fun. And I don't got people, I don't think I have the kind of like drop setup where I'm gonna get like real disability if I get messed up like that for a whole like 2 to 3 months because I tear something. I just don't think it's worth it, you know? All right, this is where it's all good. The part that sucks about this is, instead of like, this is where like having a friend here would be nice, but I'm okay. Oh no, I'm balls. Honestly, bro, to the point, I want to actually see. No, you can probably see it. I'm gonna zoom here. Look at my bicep. I'm gonna zoom in and I'm gonna show you what I mean. Now, granted, it's not as bad as it usually is, but maybe I'm just bugging. But I'm telling you, if you look at my bicep, you can see that my arm is turned in. I'm sitting here, and you can see that my bicep is turned in because of how tight I'm pretty sure my chest and bicep area is. And that's just bad. And honestly, I'm not gonna lie. I don't stretch my chest enough, and I know that. And it's my fault. So a long time ago, right before I tore my pec, you probably tell right through my shirt that my pec is torn. You can see the little divot if you like. See the little divot? And see that this side is not as bad. Anyway, but when I was in high school, I was trying to get a big chest. I did push-ups every day. Somewhere between 1 to 300. Every other day, I would do like 3. I would do decline, incline, and regular push-ups. And I would do 3 sets of anywhere between like 20 to 30 to 40 reps, depending on which movement it was. And then on the days that I didn't do those push-up sets, I did regular push-ups for like a set 100, or up to a set 100, basically. Never stretched like that after I did that, and then I'm right back. Trying to like go heavy on granted, it was also a random day. They don't like do no peak proper phase. You never forget it. Like at the time period I was doing Olympic weightlifting, my coach wanted to shoot me in the face. Because obviously, like, for doing all the weightlifting, the people that I was training with, they do not train bench. It was just straight snatch and clean and jerk, squat X amount of days a week. We didn't train bench with them, ever. And I'm not saying that it was a bad thing, but to just wake up one random day and be like, I'm gonna go for a bench max with my homies because we're just chilling at the gym. That was just stupid. Which, like, obviously I tore my pec. A lot of not tore my pec. I mean, we warmed up and whatnot, but that was just dumb. We didn't train, like, we weren't smart about training at all at that point. We cared about it. Some of us, I mean, like, that friend group that I was in at that point in time, the homies, like, we all cared about workouts. Some of us became trainers, even if it was just for a little bit. Honestly, all of us became trainers at one point. Now I think about it, like literally. But we didn't know nothing. We were sitting there, we were young 20s. We didn't know anything about working out properly. We knew nothing about how to properly progress. And if we did know, we weren't properly implementing it at that point in time. Like we didn't know, oh snap, all right, if we're working with one team doing snatches and clean and jerks, we need to properly progress our bench on the right days so it doesn't negatively impact our snatch and clean and jerk. No, we were just like, let's go heavy this today. I want to hit a bench max. All right, bet. Hit a bench max. Tour. Like what? Stupid. But you live and you learn. It's okay. Today was an annoying day of work, but at least we got this at the end of the day, It's gonna look crazy because my shirt's too tight. That's gonna show my belly. It is the word, Speaking of, matter of fact, I was talking about a diet at one point. And ADHD is crazy how it works. I don't know if I have ADHD. I don't know what it is, but my brain be going like I be having like this. These are the topics in my brain. This is what happens. We're just like, that's it. And I'd be like, ooh, and they come back together at some point. Anyway, that made no sense. I'm tired. I'm done. All right. Anyway, what was I talking about? I was sitting around 215, and now I've cut all the way down to like 200-ish. I'm basically sitting around 200, basically, and it's a nice weight. But I'm gonna do one more cut. Not during. I have a strength phase first. I'm gonna do a strength phase, and then after I do my strength phase, then I'm gonna do like my peak pause phase, which I'll talk about later on because I want to kind of talk about my workout, my program breakdown, because I'm trying to do things a little different, but I don't want to do things in a real I don't want to do any real peak phase. I'm not going for real singles, but I do think it's smart to do heavier weight with controlled reps or doing like pause reps basically. And I think it could have some surprising benefits, I believe, from what I understand about pausing and the things that I've like looked up and whatnot. But anyway, point is, on my next hypertrophy phase or possibly my peak pause phase, because I don't know how it's gonna affect me. But for sure, for my next hypertrophy phase, I'm gonna do another cut, probably like 3 to 5 pounds. I'm only gonna do it for a month. I'm basically gonna do my next cut during my hypertrophy phase, knowing that it's probably gonna. I'm not trying to build muscle like that. I'm trying to lose a little bit more body fat. I'm gonna eat a crap ton of protein, basically, and try to get at least like 200 to 220 grams of protein in. And then after that, do a cut to try to just cut this. Just so I can see my abs, bro. And after I get to 190, I don't think I'm gonna be like crazy lean to where I'm like, oh, I'm shredded. I'm not gonna be shredded, but I'm gonna be able to at least see if I want to cut more or if I want to go ahead and just focus on trying to like just build muscle at this point. But we'll see what happens. Because honestly, I might get to 190 and be like, let's see what it looks like to have like shredded abs, and then be like, okay, let me just go ahead and do a massing phase again. But not even like a real massing phase, really just like eat a little bit more so that when I start doing more like heavier weights or when I start doing more of a strength program again, it feels good. Because bro, I did my last diet that I did it for 3 months. So obviously like because of how my programs will like maybe set up, I basically was on my diet during my strength phase. You've never seen I've never been more irritable in my life. I've never been a more irritable man than me after like a strength leg day workout on a cut. Talk about livid, bro. And ain't nobody happy. There's a lot of people in here, relatively. I worked out at a different gym a long time ago, and everybody in there was basically using cameras. So like it wasn't as weird because honestly, it was really normal. But here, the crowd was just different. And you don't see people using cameras like that unless they're just like, well, sometimes you do. But like for the most part, you're not seeing that over here. But it was nice to be able to do this because as stressful as this was to try to work out with all these people in here, it was kind of comforting, especially because one guy basically asked me if I was trying to start a YouTube. And I talked to him for a second if I was doing YouTube basically. And I talked to him for a second. He was just really like uplifting. It was just nice, He just said some really kind words and that was really cool. I still feel bad for being in here with a camera because I still feel like it's more annoying because people like, he might be in their way and they might want to do something that you're they might want to do something in an area that you're recording, and that's just rude and I feel like it's annoying. I wish I could like put up a sign that's just like, hey, do what you want. I'll work around you because I'm the inconvenience here, but people understanding is always nice. Come on, son. What is that, dog? Come on, man. Come on, man. I've been trying. I've been trying hard. I've been trying hard, mama. I'm gonna get a mini cheesecake. Even though, damn, they don't sell it. Well, it is what it is. Anyway, this is my outro. I'm done with this YouTube video. I look nice and pumped up, I feel like. You know what I mean? And I'm sick of this. So I'm gonna go ahead and end it here. And I'm gonna go get this cheesecake and then eat a lot of food. And then I'm gonna go to sleep. And wake up tomorrow. And get like the average working American and just go slave away, you know? That's pretty much it. Anyway, I'm doing this video for real. Alright, love you guys. I hope y'all have a good day. Let's tell my kids I love y'all, all the best. Best thing that ever happened to me. I can do nothing but tell you, as I promise you. Seriously though, I'm not even playing. Love y'all.